Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Tello, back to you with another World of Warcraft video. Who would have known? Who would have thunk it? It's not even a Sunday night right now. It's an early Monday morning at 2:43 a.m. Why the fuck I'm up? I guess we'll never know. Listen, you already know I'm grabbing an empty Poland Spring right now. I'm fucking up the intro. You already soup. We're drinking. We're sipping. We're chilling. I hope everyone's having a good day. I know most of you are going to work today. I know you're working probably some job you don't even want to go to. But hey, Papa Tello's here for you. You know, put it on in the background. Maybe edge a little bit. Settle down. Listen, let's not get excited, all right? You do your thing in your own time. I respect it, all right? Do your thing. However, lock it in is most importantly. Much love, and we got a new week coming up. More Noma runs to do, more grinding to do, more testing and experimentation a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. All right, that's about the size of my... Settle down. Lock it in, all right? We're not talking about that right now, okay? Well, you better get the water out the camera. Sip real quick. You're pissing me off, but I love you. Mwah. Back up. Don't make me kiss you. However, we got people fighting over here. What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? Could we not kill each other in the gates of Ironforge? You're pissing me off. Anywho, listen. This video is about some comments that I've seen people making in my last video. I got my chair squeaking. Somebody get the WD-40 pronto. Get it now. What is going on? I'm summoning my horse. Get it now. Pissing me off. Lock it in. Anywho, yeah. So what I want to say is, this video is more about some comments I saw in my last video with talking about whatchamacallit. I'm trying to remember. I can't. Paladin brain. It's burnt right now. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Where am I? Who am I? Stop. Settle down. I know. I'm locking it in, guys. It's about people wanting to know about add-ons. Jeez, I couldn't fucking get that word for a second. It's because that double bacon cheeseburger I had today with fries and some ketchup. That shit was bussin'. But we're talking about add-ons today. We're talking about macros, whether we need these things or not. And let me say this first before I even go into that. I am a believer that you don't really need a lot of add-ons to make you viable at this game, especially Classic WoW. Now, obviously, with retail, it's a whole different story. I think retail is heavily add-on dependent, and a lot of people know that already. But when it comes to Classic, you don't really need every add-on in the world to, you know, do good. Just in general. Does it help? Yes. Is it partially Blizzard's fault for them to incorporate a better system so a lot of things can be easily detective? For sure, you could say that too. But I'm here to tell you that you can make life easier with or without add-ons. It's completely up to you. If you like to play the old way of, like, you know, vanilla, going raw dogging it, no condom, no divine protection, settle down. Here I am clicking my horse again. Something's happened. I'm getting pissed off. However, yeah, you can do that, you know. But if you want to use add-ons, your boy's here to help you, okay? And I'm here to give you advice on what add-ons to use, what macros you can consider, especially like for paladins. This is not mainly just a paladin video, but I guess it is catered more to the paladins who are people who were asking me in my comments. So I'll just let you know what add-ons I recommend. You know, I'll even bring over the Curse Forge. We'll switch over the situation real quick, and you know what? We'll do that first. Let's talk about Curse Forge. Let me open that up. Let's go into Windows. Get it open. Curse Forge, where you at? We're doing it live. Keep it in. Don't edit it. Don't you dare edit this. Don't you dare edit this. We're talking about it as we speak. Raw dogging it, giving you the info, okay? So let's open this up. I don't even know why I have this in here, to be honest. Advanced interface options. I don't think I use this much. I used to use this. You were able to, like, do a lot of things with, like, tweaking the Blizzard UI itself. You don't need this add-on. I might as well just delete this add-on, so don't worry about this. Atlas Loot Classic for SOD, I highly recommend you go with this add-on because you can see the updated loot within SOD just from the list of your add-ons, and it will help you a lot to basically see, like, what you're looking for a particular boss, a particular profession, PvP stuff, items, questing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you could do with Atlas Loot. It's always been one of the best add-ons you can get, and I recommend it for sure. Auctionator is amazing as well. You can go to an auction house and you can see what you want to go for, as in terms of, stacks and orders of like particular loot that you're trying to get, or maybe you're trying to snipe something juicy that's going for way too low and you want to reflip that, baby. You can go for Auctionator. Auctionator is pretty simple. It helps you with just overall prices in general. There's a lot of good ways of organizing it, with vendor prices as well. Auctionator is pretty solid. Go on CurseForge or wherever you get your add-ons and go from there. Bagnon is really good. I like to use Bagnon with Bagnon Item Lvl just to see the IV levels of like, what the gear I have. If you don't know what Bagnon is already and you're a WoW head, you should be knowing. I got asthma popping up in my video. What's going on here? But yeah, Bagnon is just an OG thing. All right. You should already know what Bagnon is. The same thing with Bartender 4. Bartender's amazing. It's just a perfect way to organize your bars and basically have it like how I have it here. Like you could change these bars and you could put it to the middle of your screen, you could put it to the side of your screen, whatever you want to place it. Bagnon is here to make your life easier, and you can adjust all your bars on the right end on this section where mouse is, or the bottom section. You can change it to your particular liking. There's tons of settings in here to enable a whole bunch of amount of bars. If you want to have 4 stacked bars, 6 stacked bars, whatever, it's completely up to you, up to your choosing. So Bagnon's an OG. I'm sorry, Bartender's an OG. I love Bartender. It's really good. Classic cast bars, it's just a way to see casting bars overall. I believe now WoW has implemented it in the game that you could just enable cast bars to be shown from an enemy. So you don't need this. You don't need classic aura durations either. This is just basically showing what the auras that they have. It fixed a lot of spells and stuff like that. Like it's not needed. It's just basically a target frame, raid frame. It's not really 100% needed. These are things that I just like having in general. I'll tell you the ones I'll just go over the ones that are just mainly important, like especially to have, like details. Details is really nice because you get to see the damage numbers. I do think details brings a lot of drama though, when it comes to in terms of who's doing the most damage overall. For some guilds they like this, for other guilds they don't, but I think details is really important overall. If you're going to use it, you might as well abuse it, and fucking download it. Details is great. It has a built-in tiny threat plate, and you can use tiny threat to dictate what kind of damage is being done, like basically from the tank, and how much threat threshold they're holding. This way your damage dealers are not over damaging in terms of threat. Really good add-on to be using. Extended character stats, I like this add-on a lot. It basically shows you true stats of what your character is doing in terms of AP, hit, defense rating, mana, spell power. It shows you healing as well if you're a healer class. Extended character stats is really good. HealBot. If you're not using HealBot as a healer, you probably maybe using an older one. I know there's a lot of old school healing bots to use that are different from HealBot itself. But HealBot's pretty solid, especially if you're going with something that helps you with your certain style of frames. A lot of people use HealBot, a lot of healers, so I would recommend HealBot for sure. I would say another good one, Paly Power. OmniCC, you could use this. It does help you track cooldowns and auras and stuff like that. It's really good for just overall cooldowns and spells and abilities. Really good stuff. That's an add-on you could play around with and see if you like it. I'm a fan of it. I think it's dope to like keep track of like what's going on over the regular Blizzard style frames. However, this is completely up to you if you want to add this. Sometimes too many add-ons are too much cluster for your screen, so I don't like to do every add-on in the world. As much as it shows that I got a lot of add-ons, a lot of these I have disabled. I don't have every single one enabled. For Paly Power, I think this is incredibly important. Paly Power is huge. You should be using Paly Power, especially if you're a Paladin, because if I'm with a group of a raid of 10, you can monitor who gets what buff as a Paladin. So you can hit auto assign. You could put Blessing of Might. Maybe you want to put somebody with Blessing of Salvation. Maybe you want to put somebody that has the pet. You want to give it Blessing of Might if it's a hunter. And especially if you have 2 Paladins in the group, it will change. So it will show you what that Paladin's going to be blessing and what blessings you can be putting for your you know, your group. You can also set what kind of aura that you want to track as well, whether it's your, you know, resistant magic auras or all the stuff that you have, your damaging dealing auras, your armor, you know, ret, just everything in general. So Paly Power is really one of my favorite add-ons, if not my favorite add-on to use for just PvE, PvP in general. It's just perfect. You can also disable it when in solo. So like right now I have it disabled, but when I have it on, it comes right here, and I'll unlock it right here for you guys right now. It's basically just this little thing. I would put it in like in the right hand corner next to my abilities. I know my camera's in the way, but all the people in your raid would show up in that Paly Power list, and then all you do is just right click, a simple right click. If I want to unbuff and then I want to change this to Blessing of Might, it should go to Blessing of Might now. And then we go in the top right and we see we have Blessing of Might enabled. So Paly Power is one of the best Paladin add-ons to be using. And this video, like I said, it's not only meant for Paladins, but I'm going to show a lot of Paladin stuff as far as terms of, sorry, my nose is itchy, in terms of macros and in terms of WeakAuras as well. Which that's another thing we're about to talk about in a sec, but let's go over some of the other CurseForge things. Plater nameplates is pretty much obvious. It's just you can use threat nameplates, whatever plates that you use. It's just basically a UI change of like the enemy and your friends to see what style of plate that you want to see, whether it's a wider nameplate or a taller nameplate. Depending on how you want to look at abilities, it also shows you what they're casting, what type of spell they're doing, the debuffs, the buffs on them. I think Plater nameplates is phenomenal. It's a really good add-on. Questie, you already know. I mean, if you're a WoW head, and if you're not a WoW head, you should look into Questie. Questie is one of the best questing add-ons ever. Questie's great, so you can do so much with Questie. There's just everything about it is absolutely perfect. For tracking quests, getting them done, finding icons on the map, making life easier where you have to go in the game to get things done. Scrap, I just like using this just to sell stuff. It just automatically sells shit quicker. There's nothing too special about that. SexyMap, it's a cool add-on. It's nothing crazy. It just basically changes your map how I have it up here. You could change it to different things too. You don't need to have it like that. Like you could change it to where it makes it look like completely different, and like it shows like spinning gear icons, and it enhances it, and like there's a whole bunch of cool little different settings that you can mess around with it. But overall, I just like my map like a little dark, like a little like blur with like a shadow in the back, and I just like the simplicity of how it looks, just a nice square up there. There's also, you're noticing this too right here, NoveWorldBuffs. This is a good way to track the buffs that are going out, like just basically world buffs overall. But you can also the big thing about this is check your layers. So your layers, knowing what layer you're on, is pretty important, because maybe you're in a zone where you don't like that you're getting ganked over and over and over again, so a guild or a buddy can invite you and then switch you and get you out of that layer so you can farm efficiently and just do your thing, you know. I think it's pretty cool. Let's look at some other ones that I have that I mess around with. Watch Training is really good. We're about to address WeakAuras and Weapon Swing Timer in a second, but Watch Training is really good because you can hit P here, and now if I hit P and I go to the bottom, normally you would just only see this, but I could see what other things I can train. Now, I know you're probably saying, what are you doing, Tello? Why do you not train Shadow Resistance Aura 2 or these other things? You don't fucking need them right now, to be all honest with you. It's not needed. This is, you know, I would say if we were doing some crazy shadow stuff and, you know, there was a big shadow damage, then yeah, I would go with it, but not right now. There's a lot of other skills though come, you know, later on in the end game, that it shows you what you can train, all the other things you can get, and what you have already. And I think it's a really good add-on. However, going into WeakAuras now. So with WeakAuras, as you see here on my screen, we'll minimize the, actually we'll close this out for a second. You see, this is what I use here. Now I use this from Quasie's website. You can get this at his site. I think he has it for like a lot of different classes. I really like the way he implemented his bars, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna download this and try this out. I never really messed around with WeakAuras before. It's another thing that I gotta pay attention to on the screen. It's not really 100% needed. All you really need is Weapon Swing Timer. If you just want to use Weapon Swing Timer, it's fine, especially for melee. So this is a melee main thing where it can tell you when to swing, when to do, you know, a certain particular cancel, or you can like jump cancel a certain like attribute of, like, let's say you're going like for hunters, like you could shoot and then jump at the same time. You know what I mean? It gives you like a small little window when you can like basically cancel the thing that you're trying to do, and this way you could just like go forward with like whatever else other ability you're trying to go for. So it's a really good, neat, efficient add-on that I like a lot. A lot of melee use this, and range as well, in particular, especially like wanding. You can track your wanding as well with this add-on. I know there's Swedge swing timer as well, where you can like monitor too, even like twisting. If we're talking about like Paladin stuff, you can monitor like when you should be twisting within a gap window of the entire bar. So there's like a little gap, which, well, you know what, we'll zoom in here in full cam. There's like, this is the bar, imagine this being the bar, and there's a little cut line at the end where you have 3.6 seconds of your weapon swing speed, and then within the 0.4 of a second around here in this area, you can twist into another seal just to see if you were gonna get the proc, the beneficial damage from both seals. So Swedge swing timer can help you with that too. But when you know the numbers and you're playing the class, like everybody starts knowing their class and knowing things, you start picking up on this shit. You don't need that stuff. So when it comes to like WeakAuras, I basically, in my WeakAura, I have it built in on, because I basically tweaked these WeakAuras where I have it built in where I know the remaining time of when I need to go for a swing and when I should do the swing. So you can like, you can change a lot of things in WeakAuras. You can change the way it looks, the display, the position settings. You can even add the text, like display text. There are so many things that you can do with WeakAuras, with the conditions that you want to add on when these things should be popping up, the type of actions and elements that you want to change, maybe a sound, animations. You can even load it for particular things, and so on and so forth. But yes, you would want to go to Questie.com if you want to go for this this add-on for a Paladin. You could find it in his like season discovery. I believe he has it there. We can actually go to the site. I could show you. Let me just show you right here. All right, let me walk you. I'll walk you through. Okay, I'll be respectful. Classic UI right here, and we just go to Paladin. All right, and there you go. It's very similar. Very similar. I just don't have the bars on the side. That wasn't to like my liking, but I did like what he was doing with the mana bar here and like showing the abilities. So you can go there and get a lot of different add-ons for a lot of different classes. So go ahead, check Quasie's add-ons out. They're pretty sick when it comes to WeakAuras. However, let's talk about more of the other things itself. So you'll see here I have like a lot of abilities that I keep track of. If I'm popping Martyrdom and I go for a Judgment, or an Exorcism, or even hell, like let's say I just waste Perception right now, it'll show a cooldown here. I don't need to like lock my eyes onto the bottom of the screen. I can just lock them right to the abilities that I really want to keep focus on. If I'm using Freedom, I can see it right here. Boom. If I use let's say Divine Shield, boom. Now I could see that I have the cooldowns on. I could see my mana bar got adjusted, that I lost a little bit of mana as well. I can keep my eyes locked onto the center of the screen while focusing on the enemy and know what abilities that I should be doing. Especially up here, I'm missing Blessing of Might. I have a warning within WeakAuras that tell me, and I'll show you here, it's called Blessing of Might. Basically, it's within the built-in thing. I never changed this from Quasie's, where it tells you that you're missing BOM. I know it's in bold letters. It's pretty, abrupting, but it's important that I'm like, okay, wait, I'm missing Blessing of Might, because obviously if I'm going to cast a Freedom and I have Wisdom on, I'm going to lose it. And I might not pay attention, especially when like several things are happening within a raid. I don't know what's going on. I'm clueless, and I'm just not locked in. And I got to always remain locked in. And you guys know this. That's how we do it around here. We stay locked in no matter what. And, now I know Freedom is over. I have to re-bless, so I can re-bless that mid-fight or whatever. It's not a big deal. The changes with, the blessings being, cost really much less now within SOD. It's easy to just pop that mid-fight or just change that within fight, It doesn't cost a lot of mana at all. However, this is a really good add. WeakAuras is really nice because I could just track so many things. I could track my judgments. I could track if I'm tanking, maybe concentration, repentance, huge to track, especially in PvP, to know when I should be popping this, when I should go for it. And it's usually here on the list. It's built in that it will show you once you like respec. If I were to go full ret into repentance for PvP spec, it would show Seal of Command and repentance popping up. And you can see right now I don't have Seal of Command on the bar right now because I'm currently PvE spec'd when I just did my Noma run from a couple days ago when I put that. Well, not even a couple days ago. I literally just did it like yesterday, 2 days ago, and then I uploaded that video. Brain's fried right now. Forgive me, guys. However, what I was trying to say is that for the WeakAuras, you could do so much. And especially another big thing is too, like, let's say if you don't like something on this bar, right, and you're not a fan of it, and you're like, I can do without tracking a particular thing on this bar. Maybe I don't want to track, let's see, Divine Shield. Let's say I don't want to track Divine Shield for some reason, and I want to change this to something else. We can go to where it says load, and I think it's also display. Let me see where it is. I can find here. Yeah, just so trigger. You want to go to the trigger and the load. We could change this and the spell ID to a different spell ID from your spell book. We can either do this from your spell book and get the spell ID there, or if you want, you can go right to Wowhead. We go. Let's go right to Wowhead real quick, and let's just look up. Let's say for some reason Exorcism was just not there. It's not on your list. So let's go to Exorcism. Let's look it up. Am I even spelling it right? I don't even know if I'm spelling it right. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to find the Paladin ability. What's going on here? What's going on here? Hold on. Let me just Google it. I'm unbelievable. Exorcism. Paladin Exorcism. Where is it? On Wowhead. Here it is. So you would see it here, and then you can click the link, and then you would get the spell ID, right? And if I were to take this spell ID, and I were to come back into WoW, and go back to my WeakAuras, and then copy paste that into here, and then if I were to copy and paste it into here, it would change it. It would change it to the Exorcism icon. So you can change your icons, and you can change what abilities you want being tracked. You can get that from Wowhead. You can probably get it just straight from the spellbook if you just like control click, I believe, or it's like control left click or shift left click. I forget if that too works, but usually you could do it either way. You could do it from Wowhead if that's easier for you guys. However, but that's why I like WeakAuras, is because there's just a lot of things that you can keep track of, especially as a paladin when there's so much utility with this class and there's a lot of things to be monitoring. It's just an overall good traction tool for a lot of different abilities, and you can hide abilities if you don't like certain things. You could like toggle the display of certain things and just get rid of them. But overall, I think it's a pretty neat thing to have. And as far as like the macros, let's talk about that now. And I hope you guys, enjoyed that portion of me going over, the add-ons of what you should be going for. That's just, for anybody overall, whether it's paladins, whether it's, any class in general. This is just the stuff I use. That's basically it. I got nothing else for you. However, as far as macros. So, yeah, I do have a couple of macros. I think macros are pretty nice to have. I don't have much of an issue with macros as I do when it comes to add-ons in general. I think add-ons, they make and break the game at the same time, but sometimes too many add-ons are just not healthy overall, and it just doesn't look good on the screen overall. But I do think macros, I don't really have a lot of issues with macros. I think you're just, if anything, you're trying to use the best of your ability to, do something with your class by just making life a little bit easier of using different slots into one slot. I don't think that's a big issue overall. I mean, for example, when I play fighting games, fighting games have characters, like, for example, Tekken. Here's a perfect example, all right? I play Tekken, right? In Tekken, you can, if you play on controller, if you're playing on a PS5 controller, which do I have one here? I don't even know because I have it in the living room right now. However, I don't have it. But if you're playing on a PS5 controller or PS4, you can macro majority of the face buttons to the back triggers, right? and the back triggers will give you easier access to pull off different combos that require several different inputs. Now, I know it's a fighting game compared to WoW. However, we're talking about the specifics of macros here. Macros are important for the access to do certain things with a quicker result. And I don't think that's really game breaking. You're just taking advantage of making configurations to your controller so you can do things within a successful input. That's all it is. It's just input. Like, we're just talking about input here to take use of something. With WoW, that's all you're doing when it comes to macros, right? So when it comes to macros, like for example, I'm going to drag this over here because I don't know why it's here. I think I put it there the other day. If I want to, actually I can leave that screen up while doing this. If I want to switch to my two-hand weapon, I could switch to a two-hand weapon just because I have it on control 1. If I switch to control 2, I could switch to my tanking weapon. If I had an emergency tank in a situation, you know, and I'm starting to tank and I gotta, you know, pick up the threat or whatever, slap on Righteous Fury real quick and start tanking, you know what I mean? If I had to do that. If I had to go back to Pummeler, I switch it to 6. And these are just my specific numbers, right? But I'll show you. Like right here, I call it ACP. You don't need to put show tooltip, by the way. You could put, you could just, this is just so I can have it glowing. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. Totally not necessary. But you can tie the weapons in your bag to, let me actually put this over here. Hold on one second. I'll show you my bag here. So you could tie the weapons to your bag to a specific area. So if I didn't want this to be Crowd Pummeler, or let's say for the control, the two-hander, right? I didn't want this to be Bloodlight's Avenger's Edge, and I want this to be Thermoplug's Axe. I could save it. Now it changes it to Thermoplug's Axe, and now if I were to hit Control 1, it changes it to the Thermoplug Axe. You see what I'm saying? Or it goes back, and if I hit 6, because that's my macro, I change it to the Crowd Pummeler. I always put start attack at the end of everything because I want to make sure I'm always attacking, especially in the certain situation if I am fighting PvP or PvE. It's very important to always remain attacking. I have an aura for Crusader as well. Always end with start attack, so we'll just remember that for every single thing here that you see in the macros. But this is to basically cast Seal of the Crusader rank 4 and then cast the Judgment. This way, when I have Crusader up, right, for example, it gets casted, and now I'm into Seal of Martyrdom right away, or maybe I'm into Seal of Command, depending on what, you know, spec I'm playing. You could even like make specific target macros. Like this is what I was doing when the game was just out, and I couldn't hit the Defiance Messenger for shit. You can put his name there, cast a Judgment, or put cast Exorcism. Like if you don't want to have Judgment, right, you could erase this, right? We could erase this. We can go to our spell book, because I kind of got to open it up at the same time as the macro, and I can hit shift click and put Exorcism rank 3, and it would just cast Exorcism right away. So you can make target specific macros. Really important advice and tips if you're going to be going into phase 3 and you're doing certain quests that require an individual target that is hard to hit. So if you know, this goes for anybody, any class. This is a really good macro to do. I have a macro for my helmet, you know, where I have a helmet ability where the helmet, if we close this off, it has an ability where you gain increased spell resistance, reducing your movement speed, but increases your melee attack speed for 20%. That's huge because even with my Pummeler, I have it built in now, which my boy Nightmare is in my guild. I give credit to him for helping me out with this. He said, bro, just macro Pummeler within the equip and use ability with attacking all in the same macro. That's fucking huge because this gives 50% for 30 seconds on top of the tempered helmet. I put it in a separate macro. You probably put it in the same one if you want. And this gives it 20%. You're going crazy. That's 70% attack speed. You're going nuts. So I think that's really juicy. As far as like, you know, using this Crowd Pummeler macro, you can see equip, use ability, start. And then I have, you know, the use ability, start attack, so that's really huge. Seal of Command, when I'm doing like PvP and stuff, you can have Seal of Command rank 1, Cast Judgment, stop casting, and then Seal of Command rank 1. That's just the tooltips. Like I said, we're not going to worry about that. And then I have a separate rank. Now you're probably wondering, like, yo, where's the rank? Why you don't have the rank there? It's because you don't need it. If you want to put an ability that has the full rank, you don't need to write rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. I only write rank 1 because I want rank 1 there. If I'm playing on my bars and I want rank 2 and rank 3 there, I want to have 2 different seals I'm playing around with depending on the scenario. If I have somebody hodged or repented and I can see the opportunity for a big juicy judgment, I might go for it, especially if I'm twisting out of something. You know, like let's say, for example, for some reason I was using, let's say I was using Seal of Justice, right? And we'll bring Seal of Justice over here just for a second, just so I can show you. So let's say I'm using, oh wait, it's still popping up. I'll move the camera. I'll just move the camera. So let's say I'm using Seal of Justice, right? I have it currently not on my bar for a second because I was doing something. But let's say I'm using Seal of Justice, right? And I stun the person for just a split second. And then I switch over into Seal of the Command. Maybe a juicy one, you know? Maybe I get off a big judgment quickly, whether it's rank 3 or rank 1. That stun will benefit off of the Seal of Command, whether it's a Hodge, whether it's a Seal of Justice, or whether it's a Repent. So you could switch between the seals, and this is also based off how much mana you have left. Because you have to remember, when you're popping seals, you're going to be burning through mana, especially if you're twisting. So this all depends on your playstyle, but I think it's best to have a down rank of certain spells. A lot of other classes have down ranks with spells. Like mages, you know, they use Frostbolt rank 1s because it's just more mana efficient. Excuse me, I can't even speak right now. Minimum efficient. What the fuck am I saying? However, mana efficiency is what I'm getting at. A lot of classes use this to downrank their spells and use certain ranks of spells depending on the scenario. So you should be doing that. Seal of Martyrdom, same thing. Avenger Shield, if I ever were to run this, I can equip a certain weapon, equip the shield, and then you know, cast the ability as well, the rune, so I can throw out and hit 3 targets to slow them down. So I think that's really good. But overall, these are just the ranks. I have rank 5 max on Seal of Righteousness because I'm not worried about mana issues. And then Wisdom, I have one for Wisdom as well. But guys, that is basically it in a nutshell. I think I covered over most of everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's full cam it. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, I think that's really basically as much as I can help you guys out. I know a lot of you been asking in the comments in the last video, like, you know, maybe go over your macros, go over your WeakAuras, go over everything, you know, whatever else I can cover. I mean, that's it. There's nothing really else to even talk about. That is what I do, and you guys have it. So do with this information as you will, by all means, and go out there and get crazy. All right. I wish you guys the best. I'm nothing but love, and that's about it, amigos. I'm pretty tired. All right. The energy levels are a little low right now, but don't worry, your boy will lock it in for another video tomorrow. We'll go over some stuff. I'm sure there will be news and stuff to talk about. I'll be back. Don't worry. Much love, amigos. I'll catch you in the next one. Keep on keeping on. I'll see you. Peace out.